Previously on A Love That Lingered, Grace followed the sound of piano music through the dim corridors of the manor, only to be intercepted by Oliver, who begged her to leave. His fear was genuine, his warnings clear. But Grace could not resist the pull of the music. There, in a dusty room with fading grandeur, sat a man with silver blonde hair. And when he turned to her, he spoke her name as though it had always belonged to him. This is episode 4, A Hollow Name. The air in the music room held still, as if even time had stopped to watch them. Grace stood at the threshold, heart in her throat, staring at the man who had just uttered her name, like a ghost breathing life into a forgotten word. Grace. Her name sounded older in his mouth, worn, reverent. His aquamarine eyes studied her, wide with something between disbelief and aching recognition. She hesitated, fingers still curled around the edge of the doorframe. You know me?" she asked. Before he could speak again, Oliver stepped into the room behind her. His posture was crisp as ever, but the look in his eyes betrayed the tremble beneath his calm. "My lord," he said softly, as if speaking too loudly would wake something buried. "That's quite enough." Arthur turned toward him slowly. For a breathless moment, the two men stared at one another. There was no hatred in Arthur's eyes, but there was sadness, long and deep. "Oliver," he murmured, almost fondly, as if tasting a name he hadn't spoken in centuries. Grace looked between them, confused. "You know each other?" "We do," Arthur said, answering before Oliver could. "We did," Oliver corrected carefully. The tension in the room was quiet but suffocating. Grace could feel something pressing on her chest, something unseen, something old. Arthur took a slow step toward her, and Oliver immediately stepped in his path, not aggressive, but protective. "My lord," he said again, lower this time. "She doesn't remember. Please." Arthur's gaze never left Grace. "I can help her remember." Grace crossed her arms. "Okay, stop. What the hell is going on?" Oliver sighed behind her, torn between his duty to protect her and the truth he could never fully explain. Arthur, for his part, seemed to carry centuries of sorrow in every breath. He didn't look angry, he looked exhausted. "I know how this sounds," Arthur said, "and I know I must seem like a madman. But I swear to you, Grace, I knew you once, long ago." "That's impossible," she said, shaking her head. "I've never been here. I don't know you." He stepped forward, careful and deliberate, his voice soft. "But you do. Somewhere deep down, you do." Oliver interjected. "Miss Everly, I truly advise you to leave this place. I can gather your things and arrange transport. Whatever this is, it's not." He glanced at Arthur. "Safe." Grace frowned, staring at Arthur. "Is this some prank? Did you two set this up? Like, scare the tourist for fun?" "No," Arthur replied quietly. "I would never toy with your soul." Something about the way he said it gave her pause. The sincerity in his voice was unnerving. She had never seen someone look at her like that before, like she was salvation and damnation in one breath. "You keep saying I don't remember," she said. "Remember what?" Arthur looked down at his hand, then extended it slowly, palm up. "I can show you." Grace hesitated. Everything in her head screamed at her not to, but her fingers reached out, trembling, and touched his. For a moment, the world stopped. A flicker, a flash. She saw him differently. The lines on his face seemed to melt away, revealing a man younger, laughing, eyes full of light and love. A glimpse of another time, another life. Then it was gone, like smoke dissolving in the air. She gasped and pulled her hand back. Arthur's hand lowered. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "It's never easy at first." Oliver moved beside her. "Miss Everly, I truly beg you, do not follow him." Grace looked at Oliver, her heart pounding. He looked tired, terrified. But something in her had already changed. "I need to know what's happening to me." And she followed Arthur out of the room. The staircase groaned under their weight as Arthur led her upward. The higher they climbed, the colder the air grew. "This part of the house is meant to be closed," he murmured. "Then why bring me here?" Grace asked. "Because the truth has been locked away too long." He walked slowly, every movement as if remembering old steps once danced in brighter days. At the top, he paused before a hallway where the wallpaper peeled and dust whispered in the light. "These doors haven't opened in decades," he said. Grace studied him. "Why now?" "Because something inside me has woken again, and I cannot bear to lose you a second time." She stared at him, unsure whether to feel charmed or deeply afraid. There was a heaviness to his words that pressed on her chest. He reached for the brass knob of the first door, but did not open it. "Everything in here belonged to a different world," he said. "A world we built together until it was ruined." "By what?" "By me," he said simply. Before she could press him further, he stepped back, motioning to the door. "Do you want to see?" Grace looked at the ornate door, its carvings dulled by age, yet still elegant in their design. Her fingers hovered over the knob. Behind her, Arthur waited. The storm outside had stopped, but the storm inside this house had just begun.